So, welcome back to Vintage Steel Garage. Been quite an emotional week really. Waiting for parts to come, not a lot to do, and the first thing to address really is the subscribers were getting into the dizzy figures of 2, and I got to 35 and it's now down to 34, so that was quite a kick in the gut. With a bit of medication, antidepressants, managed to sort of pick myself up, recover from it, get back in the garage, carry on. But rest assured, I know who you are, I know where you've gone, and I'll be around later, Mum, to resubscribe you. Now, the other thing, when Chris was round the other week, he made a comment that he thought my ring was rather tight. So I bought a tool to stretch my ring, and I think that will make quite a good video. I'll do it as a separate one, probably with a catchy title like "Wow, my ring is tight," and see what happens. You can see where it is. Obviously I've put a little bit of podge on since I've been married and it's just too tight there, so take the wedding ring off, expand it and see how that comes. The other emotional aspect from the week is I ordered a Carb rebuild kit from China. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, why did I do that? Well, the Edelbrock rebuild kit from America is $30. By the time you've got it shipped here, blah blah blah, you're talking about $100. So saw one on eBay, $12. I thought I'll bid on that. So placed a bid, well, buy it now, bought it, and I got this in the post the other day, which I thought, this is not a Carb rebuild kit. So it comes with a little card that says, "Dear customer, thank you for purchasing our product. We've sent you a small gift and your..." Hang on, it's very bad English. "And your package is being dispatched urgently. Please be patient." So the gift is a cloth. Well, I suppose I can use that to clean the carburetor. Not a very generous size cloth really, is it? Anyway, so checked on the users' feedback and other people have said, "Wow, I've ordered this, I got a cloth. Wow, I've ordered this, I got a cloth." So I was pretty convinced, to be honest, I'd been scammed. Then this morning, this turned up. So now we've got a Carb rebuild kit, complete with gaskets, needle valves, there, see they'll focus, there, so that's got all the little needle valves in it, accelerator pump. I'm not sure on the quality of it, but I'll try and reuse what I've got from the original kit and then use the new gaskets, which, let's face it, can you get a gasket wrong? Only time will tell, find out. It's having a leak or it doesn't. I've got all the old gaskets, which I could reuse, so I'll not throw anything away. Try this kit, give you some feedback. I've seen loads of comments on forums where everyone says they're crap, but I haven't actually seen anyone fit one and then say that they're crap, so let's see how that goes. So I said there was 3 things, didn't I? So I lost a user, my ring's tight, and I thought I'd been scammed, so I haven't been scammed. So it's sort of come round. So obviously, like I say, I'm back in the garage now. I've also got some carb cleaner arrived. So I'm cleaning these parts, because these parts, if you remember, they're pretty dirty. Well, they're still dirty. Took them to work, put them in a sonic cleaner, and that's what it came out like. So I've no idea what the chemical was in there. Doesn't seem to be very good. So let's get those cleaned up with the carb cleaner. And the other thing that's come, the tune-up kit. So I've got a dizzy cap, leads, rotor arm in there. And then I've also bought 2 of these to try out. Now this was a tip off someone on the A-Body forum. Basically take one of these from a GM car, which is the ignition module, which is actually shaped like that because it fits inside the dizzy cap. Obviously it's not going to go inside the dizzy cap on mine, and that can replace the original mopar ignition. So I'm going to give that a go. Needs mounted on a heatsink, so I might use my milling machine here to make a little heatsink for it to mount it on, and then mount that somewhere neat and try that. But the plan will be, obviously, as you remember, if you've been following, paying attention, the whole problem is rough running. I need to sort out the rough running of this car. So I'm going to go through sort of systematically, clean the carb, rebuild the carb, put the carb back on. I'm not going to show you rebuilding it because there's plenty of videos for that. Let's get it rebuilt, get it back on, fire it up, see if we've cured the problem, hopefully. If not, change the plug leads, change the dizzy cap, change the rotor arm, try that. If not, then I'm going to look at the air gap in the dizzy because I'm not sure if that's correct, and I think there's a bit of swarf build up in there that could be causing problems. So we'll sort that out and we'll slowly eliminate our way down and try and get rid of the fault. So let me get the carb rebuild and then I'll get back to you. Well, probably the first observation is maybe this carb kit from China is rubbish. You can see that is the standard needle there. Let me get it to focus. Come on. That's the standard needle there. You can see it's sticking proud. Okay. Yeah, this carb kit's not that good. If you have a look here, that's the standard needle there. So we get it to focus. No, I'm not going to get it to focus. Anyway, you'll have to trust me. Basically, that's sat just a little bit up, because obviously you push that down, it shuts it off. If I take the Chinese one there, you can see it's a little bit longer to start off with. Ultimately, the hole size is a lot larger, to the point that the head of that actually fits through the hole, which basically means it disappears flush, and it should be like this one sticking high. However, this part doesn't really wear. This is the bit that's going to wear on the ends there. So these are identical to the ones I've removed there. Oops. Not the best camera angle. So that's the new one there, and that's the old one. And they're pretty much. We're going to focus. Right. They're pretty identical. So I'm going to swap select parts over as I go through. I'm going to check the parts and swap them over, and let you know how we're getting on. So this is the carb rebuild going on down here. So I won't show you the detail of building this up, but every now and again when I find something interesting, I'll pop the video camera on and let you know where I'm up to. Alright, talk soon. Okay, so I've rebuilt the carburetor, found the float levels were wrong, reset those, so that should make a difference. Cleaned all the jets out. There was a bit of verdigris in the bottom of the carburetor, which is now gone, so that's good. Safe to say, Chinese rebuild kit, don't bother. It's absolutely amazing how they can make every single part look virtually identical but completely the wrong size. For example, the gaskets, it's like they've drawn around the outside of the gasket, so all the gaskets are slightly larger. I think, actually to be fair, there's a couple of gaskets I've used which have ripped, but basically I've just rebuilt the carburetor, put it back how it was. So if you're thinking of buying one of these, don't bother. Right, so what I'm going to do now, get the carburetor back on the car, see how that runs, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so I've had the engine running, ran okay, wasn't a lot better, but obviously I did find some problems with the float level in the carb. It's running very rich at the moment, so I need to adjust the mixture screws, which are these two screws on the front here and here for either side. But what I want to do is just revisit the timing. I'm aware on the pickup you can just probably see there's a little bit of iron filings on it, probably a little bit too close in that there. So I just want to revisit that, and between this point here and here there should be a 0.8mm air gap. So it's easy to take the dizzy out, and in doing so I'm also going to slightly reorientate the dizzy so this point here is further around here, and that allows me a better swing rather than clashing with the actual accelerator cables there. So I'm going to take it out, put it on the bench, show you how I check the air gap, and then get it back in. Okay, so I've got the distributor out now and in the vise, and you can see there's a bit of swarf pickup on it here on the magnet, so I'm going to just strip it down and clean it all out, eliminate this. But what I have noticed is on this air gap here, there's a bit of play, and can you see the play in the shaft there? So I'm actually affecting that air gap. That air gap should be 0.8 of a foul, but I can actually close it up from probably virtually touching to, I don't know, probably 15, 16 thou, something like that. You can just see there. So I'm going to take it apart, have a look, see what I can find, and see what happens. The distributor down as far as I can go into all its component parts. So I've got the bare case here, got the shaft here, which has got the distributor weights on the top. Now where the problem seemed to be, I can try and just line this up. The problem seemed to be in that on the shaft on here, there's just a little bit of play there, but it was completely dry, there was no grease in there at all. So I'm going to grease it up and see what that does. I mean, it's a long-term cure. Really, I think the tolerance should have been a bit tighter on that, but we've got what we've got. There doesn't seem to be any excessive wear on it, so I'll grease it all up and reassemble it and see what that looks like. Discovered why there was so much swarf in the top of the distributor. You can just see here the actual base plate was rubbing on the shaft. So as the vacuum advances, it's going to be sucking on the end of this, but if we just pull on it, you can see it opens that gap up there. But when the gap's closed down, there's no air gap in the shaft there. It was actually touching, and you can actually see on the inside of this plate where it's actually rubbed. So I'm just going to relieve that a little bit more, so it gives it a bit more clearance, and then I can reassemble it all back together. Okay, so I've got the distributor body back together now. You can see the plate is clearing the distributor shaft here. So as I rotate that round, there, you can see there's actually an air gap now that wasn't before. It was actually rubbing, which was the source of the magnetic particles on the pickup. So, and then the other thing you can see is you can see how the advance works. If basically I apply a vacuum stuck on this hose here, you should see that move around. So that's how it works with the vacuum advance. So all I'm going to do now is put a screw in here, which sets the air gap. So I just need to put the reluctor, I think it's called, back on, which is this. So this will go back on the top there, locating in the peg. So I've got to get the orientation right. Remember correctly, it was that way around. Tap that back down, put the little keyway back in, put the keyway in at the bottom, and then set this air gap to 0.8. Now obviously this is magnetic, so I need to do it with something non-magnetic, so I'll find something, maybe a strip of card or something 0.8 thick, that will do that. Now the distributor's rebuilt, got the air gap set to 0.8 of a millimetre, new rotor arm on, and you can see now I've greased the shaft. There's no play in that top bit. Before it was just a dry joint, so it's just clunking around. Also got a new dizzy cap, which is I think of improvement. It's got the copper contacts in, which I prefer. So I'm going to get the dizzy back in, get that timed up, and let's see how that runs. Okay, distributor back in place, new plug leads on, new dizzy cap on, vac gauge hooked up to the manifold so I can see the manifold pressure, the ports at the front for the vacuum advance, they're blocked off, ready to go. But guess what, left the ignition on, battery flat. So that's the end of it for now. Charge the battery up, and then let's see what we can do from there. So until another day, goodbye.